Vegetables are called as protective foods. They are called as protective food because they are rich in vitamins and minerals, and they also have a high amount of fiber and are capable of preventing different type of diseases and infection. So they fall under the category of vegetables. Vegetables are those that add color not only to the food but also to our life, because the variety in the food is basically dependent upon the type of vegetable that is incorporated in the menu. Let us see about the details of vegetables. Vegetables are plants or parts of plant that are used as food. Some of the vegetables we consume the entire plant, and sometimes we consume only a part of the plant as a vegetable. The entire plant we consume as a vegetable in the case of green leafy vegetables. The green leafy vegetables, inclusive of the stem, the leaves, we consume the entire plant excepting the root. Therefore, we consume the entire plant, and sometimes it may be part of the plant, it may be the stem or the leaves or the fruits or the bud or the flower. So it may be a part of the plant. The term vegetable has through usage come to apply in a more narrow sense to those plants or parts of plant that are served raw or cooked as a part of the main course of the meal. But now, when we refer to the vegetable, we refer the vegetable as to those that are being cooked and those that are served raw. Vegetables, they can be eaten raw and they can be also cooked into different type of dishes. There are certain vegetables that can be consumed raw, like the cucumber, tomatoes, onion, and the carrots. They are some vegetables that can be eaten raw, but most of the vegetables, they are cooked and incorporated into different types of dishes. Vegetables supply many nutrients besides providing variety to the diet. They provide various nutrients, as I said earlier. They are rich in vitamins and minerals, and many of the vegetables are also a rich source of fiber. Apart from that, there are vegetables that provide us with carbohydrates, the roots and tubers, the potatoes, sweet potatoes. They provide us with plenty of carbohydrates. And there are vegetables that can also provide us protein, like the beans, peas, they are a rich source of protein. So they provide various types of nutrients in our diet, and they make the food attractive. It is because of the vegetables our food, our menu is attractive. Vegetables are available in different bright colors like green, yellow, orange, red, purple. Bright colored vegetables, they add variety to the diet, and it also add texture. The different types of texture brought in the recipes is because of the vegetable. So each vegetable has a different texture. The potatoes have a different texture, the green leafy vegetables, they have a different texture. And in the case of the gourd varieties, the ash gourd or the bottle gourd, they have a different texture. So the texture of the food is attributed due to the vegetables that are incorporated in the recipe and the flavor of the food. Of course, we consume different types of vegetables, and each vegetable have a unique flavor. No two vegetables have the same flavor. The flavor of the food is also attributed to the vegetables that are added in the recipe. Though the Indian population is mostly vegetarian, the intake of vegetable has been very low in the daily diet. So the intake of the vegetable has to be around 400 grams. The per capita vegetable intake has to be around 400 grams. What is the per capita daily intake? Per capita daily intake is the amount that is recommended by the Indian Council of Medical Research, which says that an individual has to consume around 400 grams of vegetables, but we barely eat so much of vegetable. The per capita daily intake has been estimated to be around 142 to 148 grams per day. So this is the national average of the vegetable intake. Though we produce plenty of vegetables, we rank almost first or second in the vegetable production, but still the amount of consumption of vegetable is very less, though we are vegetarians. In the western countries, they consume more of the animal foods. Non-vegetarian foods become the major portion of their food, but we consume mostly vegetables. and our diet is mostly vegetarian based. In spite of that, the amount of vegetable consumption in India is very less. People eat very less amount of vegetable, or they do not eat vegetable because of various reasons. One is they are expensive. Some of the vegetables are expensive, and when a person lives under the poor socioeconomic status, they may not have money to purchase the vegetables, and therefore they do not consume vegetables, and they need preparation time, more of the preparation time. Like in the case of the green leafy vegetables, if we have to use cook the green leafy vegetables, pre-preparation occupies a greater part of the time. You have to clean, you have to clean the leaves, pick out those that are wilted, those that are yellow in color, and those that are has insect infestation. Remove the roots, remove the stem, and it takes quite some time. Right? Some vegetables require time for preparation, and mainly people do not eat vegetables as per the recommended intake is due to their ignorance. They do not know, they do not realize the importance of vegetables, sometimes due to unavailability in particular place. So there are certain vegetables which can be grown in particular areas. Some vegetables can be grown only in the hilly areas where they grow well because of the geographical location and because of the temperature that prevails there. The environment is more conducive for certain vegetables to be cultivated in the hilly regions, like the beetroot, radish, and turnip, carrot, cauliflower, right? These are some of the vegetables that grow well in the hilly regions. But of course, they are also cultivated in the plain, but the yield is not as good as that found in the hilly regions. So, the unavailability of the vegetables in particular place may also be a cause for the non-consumption of vegetables. But now these days we get all the vegetables in all the places because of the improvement in the transportation and also the improvement in the technology. All the vegetables are being transported to all the places, and we have access to vegetables everywhere. And another reason is because of the seasonal availability of certain vegetables. There are certain vegetables that will be grown only in a particular season. Example, the classic example is mango. Raw mangoes are available in plenty only in the summer season. Of course, we get mangoes in the other seasons also, but in the summer season, we get plenty of yield, right? So in that season, the cost of mangoes will be less, whereas in the off season, the cost of mangoes will be very high. And the vegetables are also perishable. We classify the food into three different types. They are perishable, semi-perishable, and non-perishable. The perishable ones, they spoil very easily, right? So the vegetables can come under the perishable category. There are vegetables that can be stored up to a week, maybe in the room temperature, and a few can be stored at room temperature, maybe a day or two. And green leafy vegetables may stay fresh only for a few hours, and they are highly perishable. And if you don't have proper storage facility, you will not be able to store the vegetables and consume them properly. And various parts of the plant can be used as a food. Let's now see the classification of the vegetables. Vegetables can be classified based upon the part of the plant that is consumed, based upon the color of the vegetable, and also based upon the nutritive value of the vegetable. Let's see the classification based upon the parts of the plant. So, various parts of the plant are consumed as vegetables. So, based upon this, we have the roots: carrot, beetroot, turnip, radish, colocasia. These are some of the vegetables that are derived from the roots of the plant, which grows underground, under the soil. And tubers. Tubers, we call them as the stem portion. The stem portion is modified for the storage purpose, and this is called as a tuber. So the potatoes, sweet potatoes, tapioca, they are the tubers. Bulb varieties, onion, garlic, leeks, they are the bulb varieties. This also is obtained from the root portion underground. And the leaves, several leaves are consumed as vegetable. All the green leafy vegetables, they come under this category: cabbage, lettuce, spinach, amaranth varieties, fenugreek, agati, coriander, mint leaves, and curry leaves. All the, you name any leaf that is edible, that will fall under this category. Flowers, we also consume flowers like the plantain flower, the cauliflower, neem flower, and broccoli also is a flower. Fruits. Fruits here means the mature portion of the vegetable we call as the fruit. So the tomato, brinjal, lady's finger, pumpkin, all the gourds, cucumber, capsicum, drumstick, plantain, you name any vegetable, they will fall under the fruit category. Legumes, there are also legumes that are considered as vegetables like the peas, beans, broad beans, French beans, double beans, Bengal gram tender, and the red gram tender. So they are all consumed as a vegetable when they are not mature. When they are very tender, they are consumed as the vegetable. And stems, we also consume certain stems as a vegetable, like the plantain stem. Ginger is also a stem. Amaranth stem, that is green leafy vegetable stem, also we consume. Celery and the lotus stem also is consumed as a vegetable. Seed sprouts, seed sprouts like the green gram, Bengal gram, soya bean sprouts. So when they are in the form of gram, they come under the pulses category. When we germinate them, they fall under the category of vegetables. We do consume some fungi also as a vegetable, like the mushroom and algae. Example, spirulina is consumed as a vegetable. So here we saw the classification of vegetable based upon the parts of the plant. Let's now see the classification of the vegetable based upon their nutritive value. Vegetables are called as protective food because they are rich in minerals and vitamins. It protects us from infections and it protects us from diseases, and therefore they are called as the protective food. Nutritionally, the vegetables are classified into three broad groups. They are the green leafy vegetable, roots and tubers, and the other vegetables. Green leafy vegetable, the name itself indicates that they are green in color and they are leafy in nature. So all the leaves that we consume, all the different types of greens that we consume fall under this category. The next category is the roots and the tubers. The roots and the tubers are those vegetables that we procure from the soil, from underground, right? So they are called as the roots and the tubers. And the next, and those vegetables that does not fall under the above two category are called as the other vegetables. We can find here the classification of vegetables, green leafy vegetables like agati, amaranth, drumstick leaves, cabbage, spinach, gogu, fenugreek leaves. All these comes under the green leafy vegetables. Under the roots and tubers, we have potato, beetroot, onion, carrot, radish, nucol, turnip, etc. And the other vegetables, lady's finger, brinjal, drumstick, beans, all these comes under the other vegetables. Nutritive value of the green leafy vegetables. Leaves are the manufacturing organ of the plant. So what do they manufacture? They manufacture the food for the plant. The leaves will manufacture the food for the plant because only the leaves contain the pigment chlorophyll. And the pigment chlorophyll is required for the process of photosynthesis. And what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process where utilizing the carbon dioxide, water and sunlight, carbohydrates are prepared. The carbohydrates are prepared by the green leaves and they supply the carbohydrates to the entire plant. Photosynthesis takes place in the leaves. In the cells, photosynthesis transforms the elements. What are the elements? The elements are the carbon dioxide and water. Right? This is converted into carbohydrates and these carbohydrates are transported to various parts of the plant. Though the leaves manufacture carbohydrates, they have very less amount of carbohydrate. They are a poor source of carbohydrate and energy, but they are good sources of beta carotene, calcium, riboflavin, ascorbic acid, and iron. What is ascorbic acid? Ascorbic acid is vitamin C. So they are rich source of beta carotene from which vitamin A can be synthesized. They are rich in the mineral calcium and iron, and they are also rich in the B vitamin riboflavin, and they are rich in vitamin C. Green leafy vegetables are a good source of vitamins and minerals and they are an excellent source of keratin. So this keratin, there are different forms of keratin and keratin can be converted into vitamin A. Vitamin A is very much needed for good vision. In the absence of vitamin A or in the deficiency of vitamin A, it leads to night blindness. Among all the greens, the colocasia leaves contain the highest amount of keratin. So it has good amount of keratin. which greens does has the good amount of keratin? The colocasia leaves. They have the highest amount of keratin, and the cabbage, which we consume on a day-to-day basis. Regularly we consume cabbage. So cabbage has very less amount of keratin. So you can see the leaves of the cabbage, only the outer leaves may be green in color, and the inner portion they are almost white in color, and therefore they don't have much of keratin. Greener the leaves, the higher the keratin. So if the leaves are dark green in color, they have higher amount of keratin. Beta carotens, they are also good antioxidants. So what are antioxidants? Antioxidants are those that can prevent the free radical reaction. Free radicals are formed in our body due to metabolic processes, due to biochemical changes and reactions that take place in the body. Free radicals are formed. These free radicals are capable of damaging the cells and tissues. As a result of free radical damage, different types of diseases and degenerative disorders can take place. And these beta carotene has a capacity to prevent the free radical reaction. They can prevent the oxidative changes that takes place in the body, and they act as antagonist to the free radicals that are formed in the body. Beta carotenes are a good source of antioxidant. They act as an antioxidant. Greens are a good source of B vitamins, particularly riboflavin and folic acid. It is also rich in vitamin C, and it can be used as a substitute for fruits. All of us know that fruits are a good source of vitamin C, and vitamin C is needed for prevention of various diseases, disorders like deficiency disease like scurvy can be prevented in the presence of vitamin C. And vitamin C is also needed for different physiological actions that are carried out in the body. But sometimes fruits are expensive. So if a person is not able to purchase fruits, they can substitute vegetables in the place of fruits, because the vegetables are also a good source of vitamin C. Fruits can be fruits if they cannot be purchased and consumed. The green leafy vegetables can be used in that place, or green leafy vegetables can be used as a substitute for fruits. Green leafy vegetables are a rich source of iron. Almost all the green leafy vegetables contain iron in them. The leaves that are normally discarded. When we purchase a cauliflower, the outer leaves are usually discarded. Or when we purchase the beetroot, the leaves are usually discarded, but they are excellent source of iron. So the leaves of cauliflower or the leaves of the beetroot can also be prepared, like we prepare the other green leafy vegetables into different forms like poriyal, or it can be mashed and it can be consumed, because they are very rich in iron. Other leaves such as agathi leaves, colocasia leaves, drumstick and fenugreek leaves give plenty of calcium. They contribute to calcium in our diet. They are rich in calcium. But the availability of calcium and iron in the green leafy vegetables may be hindered by the presence of oxalic acid. The green leafy vegetables are a rich source of iron, and they are also rich in calcium. But at the same time, they also contain oxalic acid, and this oxalic acid may sometimes bind the iron and calcium and make it unavailable to our body. Green leafy vegetables have a high moisture content. We would have very well noted that when we pluck the green leafy vegetable from the soil, and when we leave it even within a few minutes, you can see that the green leafy vegetables wilt, because they are rich in moisture, or they have a high water content. They are not a good source of protein. Many of the green leafy vegetables do not have protein, but of course, drumstick leaves and the agathi leaves do contain protein, and they do not contain fat. You can very well say that the green leafy vegetables do not contain fat and carbohydrate. We have already seen that they are a low source of carbohydrate, and hence they do not contribute to the energy value of the food. Right? If somebody wants to reduce their energy intake, if somebody wants to reduce their body weight, then the best option is they can consume green leafy vegetables instead of other vegetables and roots and tubers, because roots and tubers have plenty of carbohydrates in them. So they can opt for the green leafy vegetables because it contains very less amount of carbohydrates. And the greens are a good source of fiber. They have plenty of fiber in them, which help in the prevention of various degenerative diseases. What are the degenerative diseases? Degenerative diseases are the chronic diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer. So all these degenerative diseases can be prevented, right? So even before the diseases occur in the individual, the diseases can be prevented if they consume plenty of green leafy vegetables that are rich in fiber. And of all the green leafy vegetable, agati is the most nutritious. I told you agati, they contain protein also, whereas the other green leafy vegetables, they contain only vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Agati contains protein, vitamins, minerals, and fiber, and therefore it is found to be the most nutritious, which we least consume. Let's now see about the nutritive value of roots and tubers. Roots and tubers give more calories when compared with green leafy vegetables because they contain more starch. They have more of carbohydrates and therefore they provide more of calories. Apart from providing calories, carrots also contain keratin. You can very well see that the carrots are orange in color and therefore they provide keratin. They are a fair source of vitamin C. Some of the roots and tubers also contain vitamin C, but they are not a rich source, but only they are a fair source of vitamin C. They are a poor source of calcium, iron, and B vitamins. They are starchy in nature. They contain more of carbohydrates, but they contain less of vitamins and minerals. And they are a poor source of protein. They do not contain protein. Or the roots and tubers, they do not contain protein. Therefore, they are a poor source of protein. The nutritive value of other vegetables. The other vegetables contain a high amount of moisture. Water content is more in the other vegetables and therefore they are highly perishable. They are generally poor in all the nutrients. They are fairly good source of vitamin C. Most of the other vegetables contain little bit of vitamin C. They contribute to fiber in the diet. So they have fiber. Many of the other vegetables, they are rich in fiber. Plantain green, vaழைக்காய், contains high amount of iron. Capsicum are rich in vitamin C. The small bitter gourd is found to be more nutritious than the larger variety.